Maid tells her rich boss to shut up. The truth will break your heart. Rain hammered the glass roof of the Manila penthouse like 1,000 peso coins thrown from heaven. Kingsley Adebanjo stepped inside, silk tie loosened, the weight of another 17-hour day clinging to his shoulders. The imported watch caught the foyer light once, then went dark. Outside, the city screamed. Inside, everything stopped. A hand, small, rough from bleach and laundry soap, clamped over his mouth before he could speak. The scent of sun-dried cotton and cheap detergent filled his nose. Amaka's eyes were bloodshot, shining with something fiercer than anger. She didn't need words. She simply tilted her head toward the grand staircase. There, in the half-dark corridor, his daughter, 7 years old and barefoot, stood on the wrong side of the banister, one hand on the rail, the other reaching for nothing. One sleepy step, and the marble floor 30 feet below would have caught her forever. Kingsley's heart slammed against the maid's palm. 7 nights, he would later learn. 7 nights Amaka had left her own mattress on the kitchen floor to patrol the corridors because the child had started walking in her sleep, calling a father who was never there. The richest man in the archipelago learned, in the space of one held breath, that money could buy silence, but not vigilance. Years earlier, in a province so far south the sea was warmer than blood, a 19-year-old named Maria had lowered a pine box the length of her forearm into red earth. Her mother's uniform, still smelling of starch and sunlight, was the only thing she took when the bus carried her to Manila. 1 duffel bag, 1 promise. She would send money home so no one else in her family ever had to bury a child. She became invisible the way all good maids do. She folded tiny uniforms, wiped tears the parents never saw, steered barefoot children away from staircases and swimming pools and broken hearts. Adrian's house was the grandest she had ever served. Marble that reflected chandeliers like cold stars. A little girl named Maya who collected scars the way other children collected stickers. A faint white line on her knee from the night she tried to follow the moon down the stairs. A burn on her finger from reaching for a stove she was too small to see over. Adrian paid for everything. Private schools across oceans, tutors who charged by the minute, drivers who looked the other way when the child asked to be taken to a father stuck in yet another meeting. He paid for absence and called it provision. Maria sent no angry emails. She simply stood guard. Night after night, she caught Maya before the fall, carried her back to bed, and hummed the lullaby her own mother once sang over a coffin too small. One midnight, thunder cracked the sky open. Lightning showed the child again on the edge, whispering, "Daddy," to the dark. This time, Adrian was home. He lunged, arms shaking, and gathered the warm weight of his daughter against his chest for the first time in months. Maya's hair smelled of baby shampoo and rain. She weighed almost nothing and everything. He looked at the maid who had become the house's only beating heart. Maria's phone screen was a spiderweb of cracks, yet the photo beneath the glass still glowed. 2 small boys in a province barrio waiting for the money order that paid their rice. Adrian's voice broke like cheap plaster. Maria only shook her head. Gratitude was a currency she had never been paid, and Dawn found him burning pancakes while Maya giggled at the smoke. He packed a lunchbox with hands that had once signed billion-peso deals, now trembling over a peeled banana cut into clumsy stars. Neighbors stared at the tycoon walking his daughter to the gate, uniform slightly crooked, shoes on the wrong feet. 3 weeks later, the rain returned, softer this time, in a hospital room that smelled of antiseptic and dying jasmine. Adrian sat beside Maria's bed. The cancer had waited for no one, not even the woman who had waited for everyone else. He held the new uniform he had bought her, simple cotton, the kind she always wore, folded it once and laid it across her hands. Outside the window, a single jasmine bloom had forced its way through cracked concrete, white against the storm. Some doors close forever. The people who stood behind them, guarding the threshold with nothing but their bodies, remain long after the hinges rust. Somewhere tonight, a child sleeps safely because someone unnoticed is still keeping watch. Somewhere else, a parent is learning, too late or just in time, that love is not a trust fund. It is a rough hand over a mouth in the dark. It is 12 midnight patrols for a wage that barely buys rice. It is burnt pancakes and clumsy stars cut from fruit. It is the smallest scar on a knee and the largest hole in a father's chest when he finally understands what the scar was trying to tell him all along. Go home tonight. Someone is still waiting at a door you forgot to open.